Weather right now, beautiful day. I mean, absolutely beautiful outside, at least in San
Gorgeous.
Francisco, but you can definitely feel that warm up coming.
The warm-up has already happened, actually.
Yes.
Today was the peak of it, and it's actually going to
Okay.
get cooler tomorrow, windier tomorrow. And yeah, that's a sign of the changing time. So moral of the story is I hope you got out today and enjoyed some sunshine because there was a lot of it. Once the fog from the early morning cleared, it didn't take a long time for that thick layer of fog from very early this morning to lift, and we have seen plenty of sunshine all day long. And it's actually really interesting that if we take us down to the virtual reality map, that we can also see that layer of fog just by looking at our satellite and radar. That fog quickly lifted from early this morning, but it looks like a little bit of it might be trying to form for places down near Pacifica and Half Moon Bay. And that's likely where we're going to be seeing it overnight tonight. But right now, again, it is very, very warm, especially compared to yesterday. Currently, our temperature is about 5 to nearly 10 degrees above yesterday at this time, upper 80s down into the Santa Clara Valley. And right now, again, we're seeing those temperatures still sitting in the upper 60s across those inland East Bay communities, or upper 90s, excuse me, across those inland East Bay communities. So yes, it's still very warm out there this evening. Temperatures gradually cooling down overnight tonight. But overall, it's really interesting that we can see those microclimates that continue to be in full force across the bay. Closer to the coast here in San Francisco, Ocean Beach, 60 degrees, mid 60s in downtown San Francisco, but it doesn't take far. Take a drive up the Golden Gate and Mill Valley. You are at 80 degrees right now. And those microclimates, especially in our North Bay, are caused by the direction of the wind and the fact that the mountains and the hills actually block the winds from cooling down places like Mill Valley. So really interesting if you want to see the warm weather. Again, it doesn't take too far of a drive because temperatures today all across the bay were above average by 5 to nearly 10 degrees in our inland East Bay communities. But the peak of the heat was today, and again, cooler weather is on the way. And by tomorrow, we are going to be seeing those cooler conditions. Overnight tonight, those temperatures will be dipping down to seasonable. Nothing too crazy out there. We'll be in the mid to lower 60s across most of the Bay Area, maybe upper 40s across our North Bay communities, kind of just depending on where you're located. But by tomorrow afternoon, this is where the biggest difference will be noticed, especially in those inland areas. You're no longer going to be in the upper 90s. In fact, you'll be lucky to reach 80 degrees tomorrow. Upper 70s across those inland East Bay communities, mid to low 70s down into the Santa Clara Valley, and upper 50s returning to the coast. As again, we are going to continue to see those winds whipping up, as well as some bit of a coastal layer in that fog, but you might notice not nearly as much of that fog as you would be expecting with a storm system to our north. And that's because we're actually on the dry end of the system. And like I mentioned earlier, that fire danger and the dry air and those windy conditions are going to be a concern starting tomorrow. Those winds are going to whip up, but you'll notice, like I pointed out in my first weather, that large low pressure system that's currently sitting up near Canada, that's really going to whip up our winds on Friday afternoon. Those gusts might get upwards of 35 to 45 miles an hour on Friday. Again, not only keeping those temperatures cooler, but it's going to be a day that you're probably going to want to secure any loose outdoor objects or they will blow away. But there is some good news for any weekend plans. Luckily, the winds will be quieting down, calming down, and we are going to be seeing quite a lot more of those comfortable conditions as we step out over the next several days. As we continue to see these nice and comfortable conditions into this upcoming weekend, that is going to be good news for any outdoor plans again. But Thursday, Friday, it's those winds and the cooler conditions along with a bit of fire danger that we'll have to be concerned about. Back to you.